you've been counting down all week, well then, congratulations. You made it through the second full week of this new year. The weekend is here. The vibes are up. Today is one of our favorite days of Jasiri. Because you know what? It's Hot Topics Friday, the day where we unpack the conversations that caught our attention. Not only that, but today's show is extra special because we're not just talking hot topics, we're talking film, we're talking culture, impact on the business behind Nollywood. Our guest today is someone who has watched Nollywood grow, evolve, and globalize, not from the sidelines, but from the center of it all. But before we bring him in, I want you to hurry up and call your friends, family, neighbors, Mama Emeka, Amachi Buzo, even your enemies, because what? It's time for Jasiri. Let's start the show, Judith.
Let's start the show indeed. Also, make sure to call Auntie Juju to join the show. But first, I'm back again, as usual. And this is one of my favorite days, to be honest, right here on Jasiri. But this isn't about me. So let's get into what we came here for, shall we? Let's start what we have come into the room to do. Yeah. And that's from Fela. Please don't forget that we want you to be part of our conversations. You can always send us a WhatsApp message to the number now showing up on your screen. It's +234 705 500 1212. Save it as your favorite show in the world and talk to us, okay? Now, today's discussion or conversation is starting on a very honest and very sensitive note. I won't lie, this one is quite heavy, but it also is one that a lot of people quietly relate to as well, and sometimes are never open about, even if they don't always say it out loud. So a tweet by Damilola Irawo at Dami has sparked intense reactions online. Now she wrote, and I quote, it took being a mother to realize that I didn't really want to be a mother. Then she says, then she puts motherhood under there with, the greater than or lesser than course. So there, if you can see it up on the screen. It's very interesting, the reactions that have now trailed this tweet. And we're going to pull up some of the reactions that we've seen that have followed this tweet up on social media. And it's a long thread, by the way, because she goes on to say, because there was no explanation, she just put it there. And since then, the timeline has been divided. Empathy on one side, outrage on the other side, and a lot of uncomfortable empathy on one side as well. And just a lot of questions in between about choice, honesty, pressure, and what motherhood is really allowed to look like. So before we dive into our discussion, like I said, there's a ton of reactions. So I'm going to pull up this one. This one here is from at its burial. It goes, if you made this realization before having the child, everyone would be borderline bullying you to have kids. Do not be moved by the fake ones outraged in your quotes and replies. And the next one here is from Mrs. 90s. Baby, I'm one of them as well. And she goes, Andy, that's her name. I love it. I'm glad she said the quiet part out loud. This is the real reason some women choose not to have kids. It's not the kids themselves, but the mothering part. People just don't want to admit that. We're going to take more reactions.
Maybe just maybe people should have a life off the internet where you have a community you can talk to. This is such a crazy thing to say about your own child, more so on the internet. This so-called realness you people have adopted has consequences. Imagine a child growing up to see the mother say this about them. Stop venting on social media after a stressful day. We don't really know or like you here, but your own children grew up to see what you said that you didn't want them. I didn't think she said she didn't want
that's,
the child.
And that's the way they've misconstrued this. Keep going.
It took being a firstborn daughter to realize I didn't really want to give birth and be responsible for kids, especially when I myself can't handle myself and have nothing figured out. I don't desire motherhood. I'm simply living with my choices and doing the best that I can. It's overwhelming and there's no quitting. That's why the thought of getting pregnant throws me off. You mean this tired me will go back to potty training and dealing with a newborn? Never.
Never. This one here says, I am truly scared of people who come to the internet about dreading being a mother. I would be so disrespectful if my mom posted this. Interesting name, sure. Anyway, moving on. Look, Do you want you ladies are mothers? I'm not a mother.
I would like to. That's why I would like you to go first, if that's okay. I would like to hear your perspective.
So the misconceptions that people make is that motherhood oftentimes means that you have to be present. Motherhood is making the good choice for your child. And if the good choice is realizing that I cannot be present 24/7 and give it up to somebody who can be present, so be it. Yeah. Motherhood is you're figuring it out as you go. Mm-hmm. She never said, I don't love my child. She never said that. She never said, I do not desire, I don't want my children. She never said that. She said, upon having children, I realized this is much more of a toll that I'm willing to give. And people forget that women, I am blessed and lucky to be at this age and not be worried about a husband or men or children. I don't have any feathers to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can pack my bag tomorrow and tour the world. I don't have to worry about anything. And I've been in a setting, in a family setting where I was friends, right? And it was a friend's child's, I think, 5th birthday, his daughter, his first daughter. And for a long while, they were all in the very popular place where children is a popular playground where you pay to get in. And all the kids were in there with the mothers. And I was there with the homies because I'm friends with the child's father. And we're like talking about business, about work. We're just talking. And then the mothers come in with the children and you can just see in their face how exhausted they are.
Yeah.
One was heavily pregnant. The other was midway into the pregnancy, exhausted. And I'm just there like, hello.
I'm one of the boys.
So again, I would say this, right? Again, motherhood is not about the toll that you give. It's about making the right decision for your children. If you realize that you're not good at nutrition, outsource somebody. If you realize that this toll is too much for me and I'm not going to have children anymore, that's the best decision that you have made. Because what if you now come and have a child and then they hate you for not being present
for them?
And if you feel it's also too much for you, you don't have to have children. Like you said, rightly so. She didn't say she hated her child. She didn't say she didn't want, her child. She's just saying that it took motherhood to realize that, oh boy, this isn't child's play. It's intentionality. When Lola and I had kids almost the same time, we were not thinking in this light because society put it upon you as expectation. Even families, you have kids, you have to be a parent. Google was showing me throwback pictures of me, and I was telling Lolo yesterday or the day before, I said, my God, how I would do the school runs and come and sit up and sit for
wild.
me. And I was
Catherine was not just when we
and
talk
you were on the morning shows as well on NTA.
When we talk motherhood
and the night shows in the evening.
I used to envy because there are, just like you said, there are different types of, there are different things that we excel at being mothers differently. Catherine would do assignments. I had no idea what that meant. Because honestly, I couldn't lie. I always had support because I know that I am very emotional and there are some things I could not carry. I had literally brought my children all the way to the office sometimes because I'm just all over the place myself as a person. But you know how ironic life is? Most of the time, people that have no business being mothers to large number of children are the ones that have a lot of it. I have 4 children. I had 2 by choice, and I had 2 with family planning. Every family planning I have done. In fact, with my last son, I had to take the most permanent of all. It was a very difficult choice, but I had to do optional CS and just literally tie my tubes because I know that I don't excel in these lily cuckoo cha things. But people judge you for it.
Right, and one of the judgments that was very harsh was also from a man. And I hate to make this a gender issue, but you cannot separate this without being a gender issue. To say that the truth of the matter is that men do not absorb the bulk of the work when it comes to child raising. Not even childbearing, child raising. I'm not even saying bearing, child raising. They don't bear cost. They don't bear the bulk of the work, right? They just provide. They are the cool dads, and then they go. But when the child is sick, God God forbid you have a Velcro baby, a baby that is stuck to you like glue 24/7. God forbid you have a child who wants mommy and mommy only, that nobody can carry. And one of those nights is those nights that the child has a flu, has come back from school with some, some virus or some bacteria. Like, God forbid, because everything will pause. And let it just be that you have a board meeting the day after, you have a presentation, you have an examination, or you just have a meeting that is instrumental to the trajectory of your career or your life. It is paused forever. And I think
it's a lot. Do you know how many times
men have to be kind to women?
Sometimes
if they say they don't want to be, or they did not know what this is what they signed up for.
It's not just men, Judith. I think women need to be kinder to other women. Because you have never walked a particular shoe, you might never know what it means for someone
to be able. For one,
do you know how
easy for the other?
Sometimes your children literally make you crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a time in my life my children were eating 4 different cereals. Beat that.
Yeah, well, you also eat different breads.
They will not eat that. They will eat it. One does this, the other will not do that. And it takes a toll on you, the present mother.
I think what a lot of men, and I'm not generalizing it, but I think a lot of men or people, we've grown up with the belief that our mothers did it with ease and with grace and with poise, and they didn't complain. So they feel that we should carry it on. But you don't know, the world is changing.
The world is changing.
And the world is evolving. And people are speaking up more. This is a different, Judith, you see this conversation?
It's not running. We can't have it in 1 hour.
It will be unfettered when you add the layer of, after having a child, how soon, if a woman's body is not ready to receive sex from the spouse, what then does the spouse do? So it's a conversation.
Another conversation we need to have is like older women, immediately when the children are grown out of the house, they really don't care. Some of them don't even like to want to go for a mugo. We're not having that conversation. Do you know what I mean? There are some mothers
I'm in my feminine
there are some
energy.
mothers that don't want to go for a mugo, right?
I tell my children now. I said,
find a nanny.
Oh no,
I'm not doing this again.
I told Ara many times over, and I've shared it openly. I said, I have used the bulk of my life to nurture my children single-handedly.
I'm going to do it for your children as well.
I'm going to love my grandchildren to bits, but I want to be that grandmother that I'm allowed to travel the world and see my grandchildren by Zoom.
I'm the grandmother
when I'm passing through
for Omugo. I love it. I will be there because it's now
stay in your house for 1 month.
I don't mind that actually. When my friend had a baby, I'm godmother to her son. I would back this boy. And she didn't understand it. So it's something I look forward to, not because of anything, because I just
see how different we are. You would look at me and you say,
nobody's looking forward to the late nights.
No.
Nobody looking forward to the late nights.
Not me. Don't bring your baby to my house.
Or the baby having colic.
I am not around. I'm not in the country. I will zoom through. I say, hi, grandchildren. How are you? Where are you, grandma? I'm in the Himalayas.
Like I said,
when I'm passing through Australia, I would stop by for a week or 2, and I'll be on my way.
And a week or 2 doesn't mean that all of them will be there waiting for you to wake them up in the morning.
No. I don't even mind like a holiday time where I know that 2 weeks of my life I'll give to you in a year, so where all of them come together and come to my...
Lola's name is just a facade. She's by far the most bougie women. One of the bougiest women. Yes. This man doesn't eat agege bread or sliced bread. If it's not sourdough, she's not interested.
I like sourdough and I like it. Anyway, when we come back, honestly, when Judith is here, it's like energy is in the room and we just don't want to go. But we have to go. When we come back, we're taking on Nollywood with our special guest. Also, what would you do if you woke up to a 1.3 billion naira in your account? Hey, share your answers with us via WhatsApp. We're taking system glitches, social media consequences, and so much more. But please stay with us. We're coming back.
Hey, welcome back to the show. You're still watching Jasiri right here on News Central Television. Now it's time to meet our Hot Topics special guest for today. He's a filmmaker, he's an entertainment entrepreneur, he's a cultural curator and the founder of the Best of Nollywood Awards, one of the most respected award platforms celebrating African storytelling. So from spotlighting emerging talents to honoring industry legends. He continues to spotlight how Nollywood tells its stories and how those stories are rewarded. Ladies and gentlemen, if your hands are not too busy, please put your hands together to welcome our guest. Roll the montage. Let's do that. There it is. Seun Oloketuyi. There we go. I was about to butcher it. Forgive me for butchering. That's what happens when you have clipped tongues from being from the south.
You pronounced it well.
I did?
Yeah.
You're welcome to the program, Mr. Seun.
Thank you.
It's good to have you. Let's get started, shall we?
Yep, it won't be a Jasiri Hot Topics Friday show without a very special question. We ask all our guests this question. Let me continue. I was going to take the conversation back to motherhood, but no, let's keep it moving. Usually ask all our special guests who share this table with us on Fridays, how are you really doing, especially in this economy? How is Nigeria treating you? Now that they've said we should not carry our leg to America again and other things in between, how is Nigeria treating you? Really, really, honestly.
Well, my own is that I try not to complain about what I don't have control over.
Yeah, well, too late. My coffee spilled. I've been complaining over.
If they increase price of anything, I'll try to work harder or I try to reduce so many things. I will not sit down and be complaining.
So nothing frustrates you?
I try not to. Because if you keep complaining and staying on it, it doesn't change anything. It makes you just feel sad. So I'm really sad about anything that is happening. I just move on and try to solve the solution, find a solution. Either I reduce, cut a budget or something to make something up. But I will really sit down and be saying, oh, they've increased this, oh, that, oh. Because you don't have...
I never complain, no? There's queue.
Such a fine state of mind to be in.
Yeah, well, too late.
He knows where he's rolling, when you're fishing amongst the bougie caviar is on his lips.
No, not at all, Lolo. But that's what I've realized, that when you keep complaining, it doesn't change anything. It just makes you sad. Sometimes it depresses some people.
So you just adapt. You find a way.
I find a way to adapt. I try to work harder. I try to look at opportunities, even in the situation.
I hate to be the person to do this, but the federal government, the government have known persons like yourself, and that's why they keep pushing that muscle, stretching the elasticity of the muscle that can continue to endure and create rules.
I don't agree with you. I think that what I always tell people is that the government is not the problem, but we the people. Because why I say so is this: how many
drinking water?
How many people are in government?
Potholes.
How many people are in government?
Potholes.
Wait, let me explain my point. How many people are in government, Judith? Very few people. We have opportunities to change them every 4 years. But if you ask everybody on this table how many times they've ever voted, they probably don't even have voters card.
Yeah, I do.
You understand? They probably don't have voters card. We don't want to stay on the queue. We don't want, and then the few people that we even have influence on to talk to say, vote for this person, vote for that person. We all have a state of mind to say they are going to rig the election.
Well,
so we don't even
give him precedence.
We don't even attempt to do things to ensure that it doesn't happen. So that's my own point.
Right. All right. Very quickly, before I let Lolo, we were supposed to switch gears to Port Harcourt, but we would bring you the live visuals in due time, as we understand that the House of the House of Assembly in Port Harcourt have begun their proceedings regarding the impeachment of the governor and the deputy, and that's Siminalayi Fubara and Ngozi Odu. Lolo.
All right, very interesting breaking news, but we'll update you as the story unfolds. So back to Seun. Let's even talk Nollywood, because that's, where your passion is. What drew you to Nollywood? Was it curiosity, or would you say it's passion, or just chance? I've heard of people that say, I was just sitting somewhere and they just looked at me and said, you can do this, and I did it, and that's it.
Okay,
What's
in my own
story?
case, I'd always loved entertainment, and I knew that probably was nothing I was going to do apart from entertainment. Right from when I was in secondary. When I was in secondary school, I used to organize different events, shows. In fact, I remember that I ran into trouble one time organizing a fella thing, and then the school thought it was too out of this way. But when I left secondary school and I went to Nigerian Institute of Journalism, and part of the thing was that you had to go for your intern. I went to intern with city people, and then the publisher then asked me to go and cover, to be covering the Nollywood beat. That was where the interest started. And it from that point, that's
just took it up. Wow.
Well, let's get into our hot topics, shall we, for today. Now, we know that the very first one that we saw was the one of, I don't know, should we pull up that clip again of that tweet, by the way? Can we just pull it up for our guest here, Mr. Seun? It was a young mother who was saying that, that she no more cares, that she realized that being a mother, there we go, it took being a mom to realize that I didn't really want to be a mom. Motherhood greater than. What are your thoughts on that, Mr. Seun?
Before you answer, Seun, a message came in on our WhatsApp platform before the break, and this person was saying, my sister, if you consider challenges involved in motherhood, your feelings could be justified, but its advantages outweigh the challenges. When you consider old age, you'll be grateful to yourself and to God that made it possible. Just to flesh it up a little for you, but, you know, back to...
Well, motherhood is a tough thing, especially when you don't have a good support system. Motherhood can be very, very tough because I won't say I'm a very fantastic father when my children were growing up, because sometimes when I had grown and I come back home, I'm a good father when they are not crying, when they want to play, when they want somebody to throw them off, when they need something, I'm a good provider, I'm there. But when it comes to the
nitty-gritty,
the noise in the middle of the night, I remember that at some point I would just get up from the room and go and sleep elsewhere and leave them to solve their noise. It's only maybe
every noise
once in, maybe if the baby cries 10 times in the middle of the night, maybe once, maybe one day I'll say, okay, don't worry, bring the baby. I'll try to see what I can do, give the baby food, sing for the baby and sometimes. But out of those 10 times, 9 of the time is my wife that will sort it. So I can understand how motherhood can be. Imagine a woman who still has to go to work the following day, go through all that, and then probably maybe even there is also financial stress. There is nothing as horrible as being a mother and not being able to provide as you want to provide for the child. So what I always advise people is that they should just be, you have to be mentally ready, financially ready to be a mother. It's not something you just jump into. Because when you become a mother, it's not something you can change your mind about. You understand? So for young people, I always advise them, you have to be ready to be a mother. The same way you have to be ready to be a father. Because when you're a father, most fathers are like second gods to their children. So when you're a father, your young child thinks you can do anything. They will ask you for everything under the moon, and they don't believe that daddy does not have.
That's true. And so before we continue into conversations, when we started the show, Lolo introduced the question. She said, what would you do if you suddenly realized you had 1.3 billion naira in your account? And we asked people to engage with us. Sister is smiling. Engage with us on WhatsApp. So a message just came in. A message just came in. They don't say it twice. I will first invest some of the money. I see your money. That's why I said it's a tricky question. If you just, Seun, you woke up and there was 1.3 billion naira in your account, what would you do?
My money?
It's not your money.
No,
which one is your money? You just woke up to it and you just saw like maybe...
I am too exposed to know that I will be picked.
Of course.
Eventually, if I spend the money. You understand? Because I've even seen it. I saw a case about 2 years ago of a businessman whose dollar account was credited $300,000 US. His own defense was that if they look at his account, money like that
listen.
And that he thought it was one of his
this is associated
who sent the money. So in his own case, what he asked for was a payment plan to pay back. You understand? But if I don't have anybody paying me 1.3 billion and I suddenly see 1.3 billion and I start spending it, I know I'm going to be in trouble.
Yeah,
so I don't want to be in trouble.
All right, so this story, actually, it involves the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, First Bank, and a system glitch that turned into a 1.3 billion naira scandal. So the EFCC has handed over 802.4 million naira recovered funds to First Bank Nigeria PLC, following what the bank described as a system glitch, which led to 1.3 billion naira being mistakenly credited to the account of the man identified as Ojoehosa Kingsley. In his formal petition to the EFCC, First Bank stated the funds were erroneously credited to Kingsley's account due to an internal system error. They also maintained the money didn't belong to him, the credit was never authorized, and the moment the discrepancy was noticed, it was reported to the EFCC. First Bank also insists that once an error is identified, customers are legally and ethically expected to return such funds, report this, and not move nor spend them.
This story just reminds me of Okebakasi's movie about 2 years ago. He did a movie on this, and when you look at it, you would think that it's not possible. You could look for the movie. It's titled Bank Alert.
Bank Alert, I remember.
So somebody mistakenly transferred
some money
into Oke's account.
And he moved it.
And he moved the money quick, fast, and ran away. Unfortunately for him, the money belonged to a drug syndicate.
Cartel.
And so they started looking for him.
You know, well, this particular one, the EFCC's investigation revealed that instead of reporting the unexpected windfall, Kingsley moved large sums of money and almost immediately transferring large sums to his mother and his sister's accounts. He also used part of the money to complete a building project and funded what the EFCC now described as a new flamboyant lifestyle. Following investigations, the EFCC recovered 802.4 billion. You don't spare a foul. Million from the account links to Kingsley and has returned it to First Bank. Kingsley and all the other suspects in the matter have been charged to court for stealing by the EFCC. Interestingly, let's take some reactions before we get to you. Though Seun has given us his own account of it. We only have 2 reactions on this because the rest are asking the EFCC about former Kogi Governor Yahaya Bello. So what did this one say? Tell me how the guy now became suspect, whereas the main suspects are the bank. The guy didn't defraud anybody. Or did he send his account number to the bank to send their money to it?
This is ignorance.
Exactly.
If you look at the statement of account,
one more. Be ready. Okay, be ready to do the same when the table turns and the customer becomes a victim. Moreover, part of the blame should go to the bank too, since they admitted it was an error. You don't tempt people with that kind of error in this economy.
If you look at the form you fill, a lot of people don't read it. But if you read the form you fill when you're opening an account, yes, it is put there that if something like this happens, you are supposed to return it. And you put your signature on that before you open the account. Many of us don't read all those things.
Fine lines.
You are just in a hurry to open the account and just sign. You understand? So I think that people should learn from this man. Probably if he had returned the 1.3 billion on his own, maybe the bank itself would have said, okay, to compensate him, take this.
I'm wondering, another question I have is that because this error, it's a computer-based error. So how come the bank didn't notice on time?
It's possible.
Because how many minutes or days did he have the effrontery to spend this much money? That means he was in
1.3 billion is not a lot of money to First Bank. Maybe if it's one of those small banks, and there are a lot of transactions like that
go unnoticed.
So I'm sure that they would have noticed this when they are auditing their account, or probably the customer who is supposed to receive the alert originally, or the customer where the money went away from his account goes to report, and then they now make their
But imagine, let's be honest, one day 2 days, you might say, mistake. After some time, a layman's head is like, maybe this is everything in Nigeria is an act of God.
Look, if it was me, I would have said, look, I know I've been praying for billions, but not all at once. So clearly, there's,
there must be an error
my village
somewhere.
people. Clearly, my village people.
Yes.
But anyway, let's go on a short break, shall we? When we return, we're going to get into more of our hot topics here on Jasiri. Don't go anywhere. Stay with us.
All right, welcome back. We're on the home stretch of Hot Topics Friday special with our own Seun Oloketuyi in the studio. We can't talk about how far Nollywood has come without mentioning Lolo's sweet baby, Funke Akindele, and her behind-the-scenes movie, now the first Hollywood film in West Africa to cross the 2 billion naira mark and the highest grossing Nollywood film across Africa, the United Kingdom, and Ireland, making her the first filmmaker to rank #1 at the box office in Africa for 3 consecutive years. Seun, let me ask you, what does this milestone tell us about the evolution of Nollywood and how filmmakers like Funke, because, I mean, it's not only Funke, there's been Toye Abraham, there's been AY, these are people who have pushed the industry. But with Funke, she's a cut above the rest, as people say. And while other people are saying that, oh, it's not normal, Funke has a way with things. And so there's the stories, people are saying, oh yeah, maybe it's beyond that, the numbers are inflated. I've actually heard in people discussing that, oh, the numbers are inflated because you have to do that to sell market. So what do you,
Number one, anybody that thinks the numbers are inflated needs a lot of education. In cinemas, there is, they have a software called CamScore.
Okay. Yeah.
That anybody that has the CamScore can tell you any of the films that they are showing now, how many people are in those cinemas at this time, and how much it is grossing. So I can tell you for free that nobody is inflating anything.
numbers?
Number two, Funke's doing what she has done for 3 years. It did just not happen. It's not something that, it's not luck, it's not anything. It is a lot of hard work, and she had been committed to she's reaping the fruit of being committed to the cinema. And consistent. Yeah. I'll give you an example. Funke did not just become #1. When Nollywood films started going to the cinema, the first movie to really make big money was Stephanie Nora's movie. A movie about a baby that she did half with some Americans. Yeah. You understand?
Yeah.
After that, AY came.
Yes.
AY did something. AY was the first person to do 150 million. Yeah. I even remember that period when he did 150 million was equal to $1 million at that time. I remember that Ben Bruce actually made a video to congratulate him, AY. Now, when Funke started the cinema runs, that was around the time, before Funke became the biggest in the cinema runs. After AY was Moabudu. She came with Wedding Party 1 and 2, came with, I think it's Our Excellency 2, and they were doing well. But both Moabudu and Kunle Afonlayo got, I want to use the word distracted by the streaming platform. Yes. Because COVID came, nobody could go to the cinema. The streaming platform came around that time, and they were offering them good money to either make originals or buy their movie. So it was, if I were in their shoes, I would have jumped at the offer, because cinema is a lot of stress. You make the movie for more than 1 month, you have to jump from one place to the other, begging the people who are in the movie to go out and help you to sell, doing, you might spend 250 million to make a movie and spend another 150 million to do marketing and push it out. So if somebody says, okay, go and make this movie for me, I'll pay you $1 million, I'm sure you will leave cinema. Yeah. But Funke sticked with cinema. So by the time streaming started having issues and people wanted to come back to cinema, she had already established herself. Not only did she stick to the cinema, she understood the best time to go to the cinema, which was Christmas period, when everybody wants to go out and spend money. She also understood that you have to do huge marketing. And she took the risk to spend a lot of money. When people were scared to spend money, she spent a lot of money first, to get a good product. Second, to push marketing. So all the people saying things that they are favoring her, they are anything, it is as a result of they don't even know how this thing works. Cinema is a business.
Right, but we also know that with streaming platforms, there's another juggernauts that have come into the ring, and that's YouTube. Very quickly, if you can answer in 30 seconds, because we're pressed for time, how do you see in the ecosystem, how does YouTube and Nollywood playing all of this?
Fantastic. You can't win all the battles. There are some... Funkers put films on YouTube and series on YouTube. It doesn't do as well as some people who are the masters in YouTube. When you are talking YouTube now in Nigeria, you look at Omoni Oboli, you look at Ruth Kadri, you look at a guy called Itele, you look at Bimbo Ademoye. You understand what I'm trying to say? So the audience are different. Nigeria is blessed with 200 million people. These 2 billion, these 2 billion that they are shouting, less than 500,000 people watch the movie. These 2 billion that we are shouting. So we could even do, if there were infrastructure and the rest, with the way people want to watch. A lot of people want to watch that movie and they go to the cinema and they see the crowd and they just turn back.
Right.
Yeah.
So you have to grace yourself your presence again on this, because you're breaking down Nollywood in such a way that is understandable to anybody who's watching this, and that's genius, because a lot of people don't understand the checks and balances involved in that. That's our show for today. Thank you for spending your Friday with us on Jasiri, for the conversations, the laughter, the honesty, and the different perspectives that make this space what it is. We'll be back here on Monday morning, same time, same space. Have a good weekend.